It's Tank. We are back, and we are going to be finishing our 2D to 3D art class, where we learn Procreate and Nomad Sculpt. This is part 2 of the Nomad Sculpt discussion. Had to take a break. I had work and other things, but we are back. So, in the first part of the Nomad Sculpt lesson, we built the head of our robot. The head and the body of our robot has been built. Now we have to make his arms, his waist, and his legs. So today we're going to do the rest of the robot, and we're going to get started on the arm. So coming from what we did last time, we're going to open up our scene menu, and we're going to close the head, and we're going to turn it off. It's there, but we don't need it right now, so we're going to make a new section, and we're going to build this arm here. So again, it's a bunch of simple shapes, and we have it from the front view and the profile view, which would be enough for us to make it in 3D. So let's start at the top here and make this shoulder joint, and that's the easiest thing to start with. So we're going to go back into our scene, we're going to hit add, we're going to go to sphere, and we're going to take that sphere, and first as always, we're going to validate that sphere, and then go into our resolution options, go to miscellaneous, and as always, we're going to decimate it until that first point is below 1,000 polygons. So 1, 2, 3. Remember, decimation happens in halves, so we are good to go now. Now our shoulder joint is just this ball, and this is just our marker to start the arm. Now, when we actually make it, it may be too big or too small, but for now, we can scale it later, and I'll show you how to scale things later on, but for now, we're just going to build what we have here on this paper. So we started with the sphere, it's decimated, we don't need to make any real changes to it, so we're going to name it shoulder joint, and then in parentheses, arm. Shoulder joint, and then parentheses, arm. And we do that because this is going to be the base of the arm. So everything is going to be folded into this folder here, okay? So the next point was that we have this rectangular, this quadrilateral here. Now, how do we build that? There's a couple ways we can do it. We can either make a rectangle and then cut around it, or we can use our trusty tube tool. Now, there's two ways to get to the tube tool. It's either in the scene menu, we hit add and we go to tube, or it's on the side here with our selection pieces. So just tube, and now we're gonna make a straight line from the ball. We're gonna go to path because we need a line, and we're gonna do our best to make a straight line like that. And then remember, we hit the green button to make it an actual object. It doesn't validate it, but it makes it an actual object. Now, it gives us this like cylinder, and we need like a quadrilateral. So in order to do that, we're going to go to where it says profile, and we're going to give it one profile. And look at that, now it's a square. And it's a square, which is nice. And remember from the first video, this little orange thing adjusts the scale of our square. That's a radius. Well, in order to get the shape that we want from our reference image, we're going to need one side bigger than the other. So that means we're going to need multiple radiuses, so 2 radiuses. So the front radius is going to be bigger, and the second radius is going to be smaller. And look at that. We kind of have the shape that we want. We just got to align it in the way that we want it, and we'll have that shape. Now, I think it turned out pretty good with just this right here. I think this is good enough, but if we needed to scale it, again, we could just use our gizmo, and remember, hit the outer line to make it bigger or smaller as we need. And then we can change the pivot point to align it on our gizmo. Then we push it into the shoulder, and as you can see, that shoulder joint is way too big, and our shoulder piece here is way too small. So we scale it up, push it in further, and now it looks like the shoulder joint connects to this piece here, and this can free rotate around, and there's still space, which is exactly what we want. So now we're going to go to home, And I like the way this looks. I think this is a good shoulder joint. It looks how we have it in the image. So now I'm going to validate it, and then we're going to check and see how big it is. It's under 1,000 polygons, so we don't need to decimate it any further. And now we have our shoulder guard, or shoulder cap, shoulder guard. This is the main part of that arm. So now that we have it, we're gonna quick save, even though we have auto save set to 3 minutes. And then we're gonna rename this tube shoulder guard. You either type it out or hit the microphone and just say it. And now remember, we're going to put the shoulder guard into the shoulder joint, which has 2 ends for some reason. It's okay, it doesn't matter. And now this is all one selection. Perfect. Next thing, it looks like we need the arm itself. Now, there's 2 parts, it looks like, to the arm, the upper, and then there's the elbow, and then the lower. Well, 3 parts, but you know, upper arm, lower arm. So what we're going to do is, I like to do some fun things here to make this arm. You see like this pattern that we have, it's like a bunch of cylinders. So again, we're gonna go to our scene, we're gonna hit cylinder, and we're just gonna validate it. It's definitely way too big. That's fine. So we're gonna move it over into position, move it down, and scale it down with the outer orange rim till about there. We're gonna look at it to make sure it's in about the middle of our new shape. And I would put it like there. So what we're gonna do, it looks like there's 3 parts on the upper arm and 4 parts on the lower arm. That's fine. Let's make it, let's see how that looks. But what I wanna do here is we're gonna go back to our scene. We're gonna have our cylinder highlighted. We're gonna go to add, and we're gonna go to curve. Now remember, curve gives us an extra cylinder that we can move around, we can manipulate, and we can adjust the count to add more. And then look at this shape. Doesn't it look similar to what we have here? So I liked how that is. So I'm gonna make this a little bit longer and increase the gap there, right? And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna clone this, and we're gonna put a just a tinier version of this in the inside of this space. See those little gaps? And that's gonna be the top of our arm. So this is perfect for me. I like that there's 4 of them. It's inside the shoulder connector joint, and it would rotate around the axis like that. And I guess with the elbow joint, it would rotate around the axis like that. So we have it here like so. We're gonna validate this. We're going to join children. Actually, you know, before we validate it, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back to our scene, we're gonna select curve and cylinder, and we're gonna clone it. Now we have curve 1 and cylinder 1. We're gonna unhighlight cylinder 1, and we have the same thing twice. So what we're gonna do is, remember our radius gun, see how we can make it bigger or smaller? We're gonna make it a little bit smaller and increase the count. I think I made it way too small. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And then we have this interesting, like, repeating pattern, and it looks like, you know, like mechanical pieces could be fit inside here, and it just gives it character. Now we can validate, because this is how I want the arm to look, at least the upper part of the arm. So we're gonna validate it, join children, yes, and then we're gonna go back to the first one, validate, join children. Remember, join children makes this all one object. Keep instances makes it 4 separate objects, and uninstance makes it like 4 completely separate things. So we're gonna keep join children, and now we're gonna do my favorite thing, decimate. 10K polygons is way too much. So we're gonna decimate, 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 decimate. Below 1,000, we're good. And we have to do the thing to the other curve as well. 36K. No, 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 no way. There we go. And now it has this weird, like, low polygonal clay look, but in the end it's gonna look fantastic and fine in the first place. So this together, we can put these 2 together and then name it. Well, let's name it upper arm. Let's just call it actual arm. Actual arm upper, because what we're going to do is we're going to use this for the bottom piece as well. Actual arm, you know, it's just called upper arm. It's fine. Upper arm is fine. Upper arm is fine. And then inner upper arm. And then we're going to put these two together and then close it and then put it inside the shoulder joint arm. Cool. The next is we got like this elbow piece here. The elbow piece is just like another cylinder, and it has like a line through it showing that there's like a bend there. So what we're gonna do is add another sphere. We could have cloned this shoulder joint, but we got to get into the habit of making new things too. So we're gonna validate it as always. It's gonna be in that same spot. We're gonna drag it down into that area. It's too big, but first decimate, decimate, decimate. Now we're gonna use the full axis here, the orange axis, to make it smaller. Still big enough to where it fits inside here, so it doesn't look like it's like too small. Like this piece connects, like this piece would connect to this piece. I don't need to move it off the axis, so make it just a little bit bigger. There, like that. Rotate back to the front. And that is our elbow joint. And open it up. Nice, it's already in the folder. Rename it elbow joint. Elbow joint. Now what about that line in the center? What are we going to do for that? There's a couple things we can do here. There's a new thing on here that allows you to like cut this into groups, and then you can just adjust a portion of it. But I think that's an advanced technique. Let's just do an easy add-on for you guys. It's your first time doing something like this. So the easier version is just go to add, go to cylinder. Remember, we're going to validate it immediately and then decimate it down below 1,000 polygons. And then we're going to come to the side up here and we're going to go snap 90, and then we're going to rotate it to perfectly be horizontal. We're going to bring it down into place here, and now it's way too big, so we're going to scale it down, but we need it to be about the size of the ball. So we scaled it down, and then we're going to use the green axis to make it more narrow. We're going to turn it to the side so we can see what we're doing. It needs to be a little bit bigger, so now we're going to scale it up some, bring it into place here like that. And we can make it more narrow, a little bit more narrow. More narrow, move it towards the center like that. And now it looks like this is connected to here, but it also has a little rotator piece. And the rotator piece goes all the way through. You can look at it from all the sides, hit view mode if the gizmo is in the way. I like it. I think it makes sense to my mind. Good enough. Good enough. We're gonna go back to the front view, and then we're gonna name this cylinder elbow joint rotator. And then you can connect that to the elbow joint, which is folded into the shoulder. Perfect. Now, we need the lower arm, the lower part of the arm, which is similar to the upper part of the arm. So what we could do is go to upper arm and just highlight both the pieces, clone it, move it below the elbow joint, and then we're going to use our gizmo. We're going to align the gizmo, move it to the center, bring it on down. Boop. And we're going to move it over, zoom in to see if it looks like it's making sense in here. Out there. Looks pretty good to me. And then that is our lower arm. I like it. So now we're going to rename this, instead of upper arm 1, call it lower arm. And you can open it up and enter upper arm 1. Rename that inner or lower arm. Boom. And now we have the lower arm. So we got the upper arm, the elbow, and the lower arm. Now we need this grabber claw. And it looks like it's sitting on a cylinder. So again, we go to our scene. Well, let's go to save real quick. We always got to save. Nice. We go to our scene. We go to add. Well, actually, real quick, let's make sure that this lower arm is in the shoulder arm. Nice. Everything is in the arm. All right, nice. And we can unselect that. We're going to go to add. We're going to go to cylinder once again. Remember, validate, decimate, decimate. Good enough. Move it into place. Bring it down. And then we're going to use the green axis to scale it down. Squanch it. We can angle it to look at it. We're going to use the green arrow to move it up so that it's connected to the lower arm there, like so. And bang. And we're going to call this the base of the hand. Cylinder. And now all of our hand pieces are going to go into the base of the hand. Cool? Cool. All right, so next we need half of a circle. So how do we do that? A couple ways. My favorite way, real quick, is just to add a sphere. Again, we're going to zoom out. We're going to validate it. We're going to decimate it. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to move the sphere into place. I think it would look like that. We're gonna scale it down a bit. And then, as you can see, it's poking out the other side. And that's not how we have it in our drawing. I like it like this. Honestly, it looks cooler like this, but that's not how we have it in our drawing. So what we're gonna do is, because I like where the positioning where it's at right now. Yeah, I like the positioning where it's at right now. We need to get rid of that top part. So we're going to go to our tools on the right hand side. We're going to go all the way down, or to wherever you have it located. We're going to go to the trim tool. We're going to go make sure that we're facing like world center on the front. So now we can zoom in. And then we're going to hit rectangle, and we're going to go right above the base of the hand here, and then just let it trim away that part of the ball. And now we got the shape that we need. It's not poking out at the top. It's just at the bottom here. And now we're going to call this mesh. We're going to call this the palm. It's not really a palm, but for the sake of this, it's the palm. P-A-L-M. Palm. And now the palm goes into the base of the hand. What happened? I actually hit 2 fingers, sorry. All right. P-A-L-M, palm. Good. And the palm is in the base of the hand. Nice. Next, we have 2 little grabber pieces. And then on the side view, we split it in half, and we put some like bolts on it, so it looks like it can bend. So we added that extra detail there. And now, how are we going to get that shape? Let's see. Let's take this off of trim so we don't make any mistakes. Put it in view mode. That's good. How are we going to get that shape? Honestly, the ball is a little bit longer. So we're going to go to gizmo. We're going to hit our ball shape. And then we're going to use the green axis to make it more long like that. Look at that. It worked out perfectly. All right, now we can add the 2 claws. Now, the claws are just coming out of here. Usually I put like a ball or something to make it seem like this is the base of it, and then it moves around that axis. But in our drawing, we just have the claw coming out there. So we're going to take some creative liberties and add a point where the claw is coming out of. So we're going to add a sphere. Remember, validate, missed it, miscellaneous, decimate, decimate, decimate. Move it into place. It's way too big. Use the big one to scale it down, the orange part of the gizmo to scale it down. Scale it down some more. Push it into the hand like that. And we're going to call this base of claw. Nice. All right, so that's where the claw is going to come out of. Now we need to build one of those claws. I mean, like I said, we only need to build one because we can do some stuff and make another one. It's just like building the arm. We only need to do this one time, and then we're going to have two of them. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So now we have the base of the claw. And the next thing, we're going to need our trusty tube tool once again to make a fun and interesting shape. So it's like 3 parts. So we're going to go to path, we're going to draw a line, and then we're going to hit the center of the line to give us another point on the line. And we're going to make that a hard edge by clicking that dot and making it a black dot. And now we have sort of the shape that the claw looks like right there. I'm going to do our best to move it in position. And I think that's it. So let's make it a real object. And remember, this looks like it's like bigger, it's smaller in the base, bigger in the middle, and smaller at the edge. But it's also rectangular. So in order to give it that rectangle, again, we go to profile, one profile, please. And then we're gonna have to readjust this because it makes it like at a weird angle. So we're gonna just adjust it until we get to a point that we like. I don't like this point here. So I'm gonna align it like this so that it's straight and straight enough for me. And then we use our gizmo. We're gonna take it off of snap 90 and then we're gonna rotate it around that axis. Just so it's straight. It's straight enough. It's kind of crooked there, but it's good. I like the way that looks. So again, so now we're gonna build it. Sorry. Now we're going to build it. Let's rotate it out some. Rotate it more this way. All right, so now we're gonna go back to view mode so that we can adjust this. So we said it's narrow here, wider in the middle, and then narrow at the end. So that means we're gonna need 3 radiuses. When it says 3 radiuses, it just means however many points there are, there's a radius. But we only need the 3 spots, so here we go. So now we add the center is wider, and then the edges are narrow. And that looks like what we have built there. Okay, I like that. I like how it looks here. It's all chunky and big, and it's a big claw. Let's make it a little longer here. Perfect. Now we're gonna validate this because it is how I like it. We're gonna decimate it if it's above 1,000 on this first one, and it is, so decimate. And then now we're gonna use our gizmo tool near the bottom to go front facing. We're gonna hit the align button so we can rotate it around that axis, move it over, and then we're gonna check it and make sure that it's inside that ball. Let's move it in a little bit more. We move forward and up. And now the claw is inside. So now, before we move on and clone it, there's a little more detail here. We split it in half and made it seem like it's in multiple parts. So we're gonna go to our trusty split tool. And now there's a couple ways we can do it. We can either use the rectangle to make a straight line and go across. We can make a polygon to make it have like some interesting shape to it. We can make a line or an ellipse, whatever you guys feel like doing. I'm gonna use the ellipse just because I want to see if we can make an interesting cut here. It's a little too high, so let's try it again. Make it a little lower here. And I want the cut to be sort of round in shape here. Let's try one more time, a little higher. Let's take it off a circle. Let's take it off a circle. Maybe I can do here. Okay. No. All right, we're gonna come from about here and then make our cut. I like it. I think that's it. So we're gonna check it by using the gizmo. We're gonna see if there's multiple parts. Look at that. Now there's like a rounded like piece, like this part of the finger can rotate around that axis, which is what we wanted. All right, so now we have that split. So what I'm gonna do is, to make it a more visible representation of a split, is just scale this down a little bit. Scale it down a little bit. And now you can see it. Ooh, let's Let's not do too much. And now you can see that there's like this edge to it. You see that? You see that little edge there? And you make it a little bit more visible. We can just drag this out some. Bring it down like that. You see that? Just enough. So that you can see that like this rotates around there. And what I'm going to do now is that we're going to add a cylinder. Well, let's call this mesh claw. Oh, actually, you know what? We're going to fuse these two pieces back together. Since we have the split that I want, and now I want these two things to be one piece, we're going to go back into our scene. We're going to hit mesh and tube split and then hit join. Now these two pieces are one piece again. And now we can call this claw. Claw. And we're going to add a couple more little tiny details just so we have just some more things that make it look like it's a functioning claw. Okay? So we're going to go to add, we're going to go to cylinder, as always, validate, decimate, use our gizmo tool, zoom out. We're going to bring this down, we're going to turn on snap 90 again, we're going to rotate this. Now we can zoom in. Remember, pinch with 2 fingers and move your fingers outward to zoom. We're going to bring this down. We're going to scale it down, all the way down like that. So tiny. And we're going to use this blue axis to make it longer, a little bit longer. All right, and now we're going to use the space that it's in to move it into position. So we're going to use the red axis to bring it forward, green axis to bring it down. We're going to rotate the screen, or you can just hit the box at the top. Remember, that's always there. I'm going to make this a little longer, and it looks like it's going through here, right? So now it looks like there's like a hinge or something there, and then this piece right here is what it's connected to. Let's move this over some. Let's scale it in a little bit so it's just poking out on both sides. And then before we do anything else, we're going to clone it. It says cylinder 1. We're going to scale it down a little bit lower and then use the blue axis to make it longer. Scale it down a little bit more, blue axis to make it longer. And now it sticks out of here. Like, why did we do that? Because I wanted to do some more additive stuff. It's a very tiny detail, but we're going to go to the materials and we're going to go to additive and we're going to turn the opacity all the way up. So now it's super bright, 500%. So now it looks like it's a glowing joint piece here. So now we can start naming these things. The cylinder is the hand joint. I don't know, let's call it claw joint. That's funny. I'm not going to change it because it's hilarious. And then we're going to call this collar. It's supposed to be claw joint, but college joint sounds funny, and the college joint glow. We all know what it is. Good. So we're going to mold those two groups together. All of this is inside the hand, and voila, we have one of the claws. Now we need to make 2 of them because in our image it has 2. Let's go to home, zoom out. So we're almost done with the arm, which is awesome. But the claw doesn't just have 1, it has 2. So we're going to go into the base of hand. All right, we're going to go to the base of hand. We're going to unselect that. We need the palm, the base of the claw, and the college joints all selected. And then instead of just hitting clone and putting it into place, we're going to do another one. We're going to use add. We're going to go to array. Is it radial? Maybe it's radial. It's radial. We're going to add radial. And look what happened. Look how many claws it gave us, and they're all in this weird pattern. See, it's radial on the y-axis. It gave us 4 claws. It gave us the whole base of the claw. We don't need that. So we're going to back it up. We don't need the palm. We just need the base of the claw, and the college joints. So we're going to try radial one more time, and it gives us 4. We only need 2. And now that's not in the position that we want it to be in. So now we have to adjust this. around the axis. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. One more time. There. I accidentally hit delete. I accidentally undid it. Is it mirror? No, because then it moves it in the axis. Okay. So we're just going to clone it like the other... I'm trying to figure out where I went wrong, but we're going to hold on to all three of these pieces. We have basic claw, claw, and claw. Array. One count. Whoa. No, I hit the wrong thing again. Curve, radial. It's radial, okay. I'm trying to see why there's so many pieces. 2. We just need 2. Alright, okay. What happened there? Alright, well, I'm mucking everything up, so we're just gonna do it. For some reason, I'm having trouble today. We're gonna undo all of that. Undo. What do we got here? Okay. Alright, we got basic claw, claw, and college joint. Cool. We're just going to hit clone. It's going to select all three of them. We're going to take it out there. We're going to hit snap 90. 1, 2, and rotate it in space. That's the easier way to do it. I was trying to do the complex way and have an array of 4, but that requires a little bit of extra steps, and we're just trying to do this real quick. So now we have 2 claws, and everything that's highlighted, we're going to drag it to the bottom. So basic claw 1, claw 1, and college joint 1. And then they're all going to be in the same group, and then that can go into the base of the hand. And now we have 2 separate claws. So they got this claw and the other claw. It's pressed in, voila. We only need to make 1, and we just clone it. And now we have 2. And that is the arm. So the arm is done. So let's go back to save real quick. That's the arm. We have all the components of the arm there, nice and built. And then we are going to close the arm just like that. We're going to turn on the head piece and see the scale of our head and our arm. And look how big the arm is compared to the head. So we're just going to highlight everything that is the shoulder and the head, shoulder piece, and we're going to just use the scale thing to scale it on down. And then we're going to zoom into our little tiny robot here, and that makes more sense scale-wise. We can even make it smaller, but I want it a little bit bigger. So we're going to put this on the robot's head like that, and it's in the center. And you know what? Let's make it a little bit bigger, just because. And now we got the robot's arm. It's dead center. Let's raise it up some. Let's raise it up a little bit here. Let's put it higher up. But now we need, like I said, we need 2 of them. So again, we're going to highlight everything that is the arm. We're going to clone it. And then we have snap 90 on. 1, 2, rotate everything around in place. And then just put it in position. And bang, we have both of our robot's arms. They may be too big, but let's make the head of our robot wider. Ooh. Yeah, they turned everything wider. Let's turn everything wider. He looks so funny. All right, I like it. Let's make him a little bit bigger this way. And we're going to select that first arm, pull it out some. All right, cool. So now we have a better scale of the head of the robot and his arms. So next we need his waist and then his legs. So the waist is what we're going to do next. Congratulations, everybody. We did the arms. And how we did it was we made one arm, and then we went to our scene, and then we selected it, and we cloned it, and just rotated everything into place, and voila, 2 arms. very low polygon, 73 megabytes out of 1.6 gigabytes. We're doing great, guys. Okay. So next part, we need the waist. So the waist on our reference image would be just on the full robot, like that. Okay, so we got this top part looks exactly like how we have it in the picture. So good job, guys. It's a little oblong now because I adjusted this. So let's go to Gizmo, make this wider again, and then readjust the arms. And select that. Move the arm out a little bit. Good. Select the other arm. Move it out a little bit. It's actually a little bit lower, so let's lower this one down. Select the other arm. Lower it down. Cool. Now we got the arms in position like that. We can even bend it out like this, like he's gonna grab something. You can turn off the snap if you want. Like that. And his arm is out a little bit, but that's his arm. So we're gonna undo that, leave it down by his side because that's how we have it. And then now we have to build the waist, which should be pretty easy. So we need like a mesh like how we have for the eye. So what you could do is select that mesh, eye mesh, clone it, bring it down, even though it's not perfectly. Ooh, let's turn Snap 90 back on. Snap 90. We're gonna rotate it. Oopsie. We got Snap 90 on? Yes, we do. We're gonna grab the red rotator, bang. And then we're gonna use the blue to move it into place and then scale it up some. And then move it over a little bit. Looks pretty good, I think. I think it looks pretty good. Let's move it forward more. And then let's use the green axis to make it a little thicker. Put it into place like that. Heck yeah. I'm gonna clone it one more time and then turn off the snap and then rotate it some like that. So it still has that shape, and then we could scale it down just a little bit. Just a little bit. So it looks like there's indents in it like that. Perfect. And now we're gonna go to our head and take out eye mesh 1 and 2. We're gonna highlight these two together. We're gonna put them in the same group. Close that, take it out of the head, bring it to the bottom here. We're gonna close the head group, and we're gonna change this to waist mesh. Oh, actually we're gonna, before we name it, because we're gonna fuse these two together. So these two pieces here, this and this, we're gonna join them together. And now we're gonna call it waist mesh. Long way to spell waist, but I get it, it's fine. We're gonna leave it how it is because it's funny. And again, we're gonna use the green to make it even thicker like that. And then press it into the square. And then this is the waist mesh, which is the start of the waist. Next, view it, let's see. Next we need, again, like half a circle. So what we're gonna do, save real quick, even though we have our autosave on 3 minutes, we're gonna go to add, we're gonna go to sphere, we're gonna validate that sphere, we're gonna decimate that sphere, 1, 2, 3. Then we are going to hit the gizmo, bring that sphere down. Oh, look at that, looks pretty good already. And scale it down so that it's like underneath the mesh. Zoom in a bit. So I'm gonna move it forward, scale it up, move it over, and then take a look from the top. That looks good right there. We can leave it just how it is, or we can use our trim tool to cut it. The choice is yours. I'm gonna leave it just how it is and just move it up a little bit more so that now it's inside everything. So you can't really see the rest of the sphere. It's all inside here, and that's fine. This time, okay, so now when we make the leg, next thing we got to do, we're gonna name this waist compartment. I don't know. And then we're gonna put that into the waist mesh. And now that's the waist. The waist is done. Look at that. It was just 2 pieces, 2 easily done pieces. We cloned the eye mesh. We rotated it into place. We cloned it again. We rotated it around some to give it this interesting pattern here. And then we made it 1 piece. I think I should have left it 2 pieces so I could do some color variants. But that's so many steps back. That's fine. We're gonna leave it how it is. It's 1 piece. And then we have the body. The part of the waist, that's the body. And we have that. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is make 1 leg. We just got to make 1 leg, but we need 4 of them, but we're just going to make 1. And this time we're going to use the array tool to put them in the right spots. All right, so we're going to build 1 of the legs. So now we're going to get rid of the waist. We're going to go to add. We need a sphere as the connector. So we have a sphere. Again, validate, miscellaneous, decimate, decimate, decimate. Use our gizmo tool wherever you guys have yours. Grab the gizmo tool. Use the green one to bring it down. And then we're going to scale it down about there. I think that's good. Then we're going to bring it up. Bring it over, and we're going to bring it to the front here. And then make sure we press this into our mesh here. Back. Cool. All right, so that is leg joint, and this is going to be the base of the leg. And this is going to be the start of the leg. Cool. All of our things are going to fall into this category. All right, so next we need a rectangle. Easy enough. A rectangle at an angle. We're going to go to add. We're going to go to box. And then, oopsie, where's our box? All right. We unselected the box. Select the box. Validate that box. Decimate that box. Decimate that box. Funny. All right, and then hit our gizmo. We're gonna bring it down with the green. So we needed a long rectangle. So we're gonna use the red axis to make it longer, just like that. And then we're gonna scale it down because it needs to be scaled down. Let's make it a little bit longer again. Oopsie. Longer again. Now it has to fit onto this ball. So we're gonna scale it down again. Check a good look. I'm gonna turn off the arms just so they're not in the way. Boop, boop. Both of the arms are off so they're not in the way. And then let's scale this down some more. Let's make it longer. All right, so now we're going to try to adjust this. We're gonna make sure snap is off. So we're gonna adjust it at an angle and rotate it up, oopsie. And then hit a line. So now it rotates up. It's up like that. Hit a line again, move it over. Move it over. Use the green one to make it at an angle. Because we need space for all 4 of the legs, so they have to be angled. So use the green one to rotate it some more. And then we're going to hit the align tool. So bring it in, bring it up. And all right, so now we have to scale it up some because the ball fits inside there. Bring it down. We're gonna bring it up, bring it out. Hit the align tool, bring it over. Scale it up a little bit more. Bring it over, bring it back down. All right, and now the top part of the leg is in position. Beautiful. Top part of the leg is in position. Looks like it's going inside. The ball is going inside of it, so it gives it rotation Everything else like that. Perfect. I like it. Turn it to the front. See that it's angled. Good. And that's the top part of the leg. So upper leg. Upper leg. Now we need sort of like this knee ball joint. So we're going to add a sphere. We're going to validate it. We're going to decimate it 3 times. And then we're going to hit world center to the front. Bring it down. Bring it forward. Bring it over. Scale it down. Scale it down. Now we have to position it to like the center. So we're just going to keep rotating until we get it in the right spot. I like it there. We're going to scale it down just a little bit more because we need it inside like that. And we can make it longer. Yeah, perfect. I'm going to leave it like this. We're going to call this the knee joint. And so that's where the upper leg and the lower leg are going to connect. And now for the lower leg, we just need this triangular bit. So it's either we can make it cones or we can make it like pyramids. And let's just make it cones. We haven't used cones yet, have we? So let's go to add, go to cone, go to validate, and then check and see if it needs to be decimated. Yes, it does. 1, 2, 3. And then zoom out. And then bring it, oopsie, undo. We're going to bring it down. We're going to have snap 90 on. That way we can just get it to 180 degrees, perfect. Straight down like that. We're going to move it into place and then scale it. Move it into place. That's way too big. All right, so we're going to scale it down. Well, actually, undo. Oh, move it into place. And I think it's too wide. Okay, yeah, we're going to use the tube tool because if I start to mess with it here, it gets squished. And we don't want it squished. Like, we want it to look like a cone. So in order to just do that without scaling it down, let's see if we can scale it down, right? Move it up and then make it longer and see if that does it for us. Longer. Yeah, that works, honestly. Okay, so that's how we're going to do that, guys. We scale it down and then just use the green axis to make it longer. Let's scale it up a bit. And now we have the bottom of our leg. And put it inside the ball. Make sure it's not touching the upper portion. So like this is rotating along that. I like it. And you know what? We're going to add a little hinge there just because I want to. I like it, like adding like glowing hinges like we did before. So this is the bottom of the leg. It's done. Easy peasy. Name it lower leg. So our foot. So you can call it foot too if you want to. But all right, so now we're going to go back in here. Make sure all this goes into leg joint. Knee and lower is all inside the leg. Cool. We're going to add a cylinder again like we did before. Validate, decimate, bring it down, snap 90 to rotate it to 90 degrees. Nice. Turn off snap. Scale it down, make it wider, and then we got to fix it into place. So rotate it. Definitely gonna have to scale it down again. That's fine. We're gonna move it into place. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna scale this bad boy down. Rotate it some more, scale it down. And it's sticking out on both sides pretty well. And it looks like this ball is somehow connected to this. Let's lower it. And let's move it back and then lower. Yeah. All right, so then we're gonna clone that real quick. cylinder. We didn't name it yet. We're going to clone it. Remember, scale it down some, make it longer. Scale it down, make it longer so that it pokes out. Then we're going to go to our materials, make it additive, turn up the additive all the way. And now we have a glowing knee joint. And now we can put this cylinder name knee connector or something like that. Knee bolt. And then knee bolt glow. Remember, name all your glowing parts. Cool. We got our knee bolt and knee bolt glow. We can put these two together and then put them in the knee joint and then bang. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our leg. That is our leg. Okay, we need 4 of these things. Not just the one, we need 4. So we are going to, this time, do this the right way. Highlight everything in the leg joint. Go to add. Go to radial. And look at that. See, first try. I don't know why this worked. Why did this one work first try and I didn't have to do anything to correct anything at all? It just worked out perfectly. But when I tried to do it with the claw, it was like, it does not compute. All right, anyway, so what just happened? So what we did was we added a radial, and it has the exact amount of legs that we need. You can make it less. You can have 3 legs if you want to. You can have a lot more legs if you want to, but it's on the y-axis. So make sure you're adjusting it on the y-axis before we validate it. You guys don't have to have 4 legs. This works too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 odd legs. 7 legs works for some reason. It looks really cool. It's not the exact design that we had, but it looks so cool. So if you want to make it 7 legs or even 8 legs or 30 or 40 legs, you can do that, guys. It's going to eat away at your computer, but, so we're not going to do that. We don't need that many legs. 14 still looks good, too. 10 looks great, too. All right, 2 legs. No, but our design has 4, so we're going to do 4 legs. And they're evenly spaced out and scaled to however you want to scale them. You want them bigger or smaller, whatever. We're going to leave it how it is. I think we scaled it just perfectly. And now we are going to validate this, and our legs are going to be done. How are we going to validate this, though? We're going to validate it, and we're going to keep the instances. We're not going to join children. That makes all the legs 1 leg, and we don't want that. We're going to keep the instances, and now we have 4 leg joints, and they can each individually be moved if I need to. But, ladies and gentlemen, if we turn back on our arms, our robot is done. Look at that. Our robot is all the way done, guys. We did it. We made our robot. Congratulations. If you made it this far and you followed along, you will have built a robot that has detail on the back. He has arms and legs and an eye. And now we have to color this bad boy. So what are we going to do? Well, sometimes I like to add a platform for his feet. That's another thing. So before we move on to the coloring stage, again, I'm very proud of everyone who followed along and made it this far. You made your first robot. It looks awesome. It's fun. You can change the arm positions if you want to. You can change the leg positions if you want to. You can give it more legs. You can give it more arms. You can do whatever you want. It's your design. Have fun with it. But before we move on, let's add a platform. You don't have to do this, but it's fun for when we get to the next part. So we're going to add a box. And we don't want it in the leg joint stuff. We're going to have the box be separate. And we're going to close that. And we're going to name this. But we're actually just validate it, decimate it. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to hit our gizmo. We're going to bring it down. And then we're going to scale it on the red axis. So this doubles every time you let it go. So there, it'll double. See how big it got that first time? So this first time it goes like that. The second time it goes like that. Third time it'll be even bigger. And we just need a platform. It doesn't need to be that long. Just something that your robot stands on. Real quick. Boop. And there's this platform. Real quick, before we move on, we're going to take a quick restroom break. Design your platform however you want. You can make it thicker or thinner, just so that, it's something that your robot stands on and it has a platform. Okay, I'll be right back, 2 minutes, and then we are getting to the coloring portion, and then we're going to be done. Woo! right, and we are back. We are back. I'm gonna cut the feed real fast, guys, just so we can have this sectioned off, and then we're gonna have the coloring video. So thank you guys. Platform, and now it's something that your robot is standing on. It's a little platform. There it is. All right, so congratulations, guys. You built your first robot. The next portion of this is we are going to color it, and then we are going to take pictures of it if you want to, and then yeah, we're going to learn about lighting and coloring all in the next part of this. So this is the end of this part, guys. Thank you for following along. If you did it, congratulations. If you didn't, if you have questions, you can hit me up on Instagram or TikTok. Links are in the bio. Thank you guys for following along. Proud of you if you did this. You made your first robot. Look how cool it looks. It's got all the parts that we said it was going to have, and it's all there. So this was like, this is just a beginner course of teaching you the basics of Nomad Sculpt, and we did all the sculpting parts. Next thing that we're going to do is the coloring portion. So we're going to close this, start the record over, and then get into it. So again, my name is Tank, either Tank Flip or Rambling Black Mage. Tank Flip at twitch.com. Rambling Black Mage is the YouTube. I know I should make them all the same, but I don't know. Who cares? Follow me on Instagram, Frederick Holyfield Art, TikTok, and YouTube. And yeah, guys, hope you guys had a good time. Hope you learned something. If you did, good. If you didn't, send me questions and notes and stuff in the comments, and we'll get there. But that's the end of this one. We're going to shut off the record and then start back up, and we're going to do the coloring portion. All right? Thanks again, guys. Peace, peace.